Congratulations for the school, first day of school, all the teachers, parents, kids. I can't believe we're here, but we're doing it, and it's all the hard work that you are that. So thank you very much. All right, next up is Rigo Vargas. Let me clean this up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Long. Good afternoon, Ventura County. Rigo Vargas, your Public Health Director. So today I'll be providing the usual update with regard to our numbers today. I'll also touch a little bit more on the no social or large gathering message, touch a little bit further on schools, and on testing. First, with regard to our numbers, we're reporting 120 new cases of COVID in Ventura County. That brings our total to almost 11,000. We're at 10,806 Ventura County residents that have tested now positive for COVID in Ventura County. We're also reporting 1,243 newly tested individuals. And a good note is on our hospitalization numbers. Those are very key numbers, along with all the numbers that we report to you. Hopefully you find them very important and key. But one of those that we follow so closely because our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with those families that have individuals in the hospital. They're sick enough with COVID and other, perhaps other comorbidities that they're been admitted to the hospital and they're being cared for in one of our 8 excellent hospitals. Today we're reporting that 63 individuals are in Ventura County are in the hospital. That is a number that is much lower than we've been seeing as of late. You may recall that, in fact, it was our hospitalization numbers increase, a dramatic increase that led us to be on the state's monitoring list that now is a tiered approach that we'll talk to you also a little bit more to explain that. But that number has gone down. It stayed around 70 and 80 the last few weeks, but it's been over 3 weeks that we've been in the 60s. And so today, again, 63 people in the hospital. And also another good news with regards to the hospital numbers is those that are in the ICU unit, the intensive care unit. That number today is at 14. Yesterday we were at 13. Both of these numbers are among our lowest also that we've had in a while. And so I really hope that our numbers continue to trend downward. And even though our 120 new cases is higher than we need that number to be, in fact, it's twice as high as it needs to be. It needs to be 60 on average or lower in order for us to meet our metric, our number that the governor has set for counties like ours to move out of the current tier, which we're in tier 1. It's by color code, we're in the purple tier, and that is pretty much for all the counties that were on the monitoring list previously. We're now on in tier 1, and so in order for us to move to the next tier, which is color red, we have to be averaging less than 60 cases per day. Again, today is 120. Yesterday we had, I believe, 33. So it does fluctuate, but it is possible to have less than 60 cases a day. So I urge every Ventura County resident to continue doing all that you can to bring those numbers down. And specifically, we were still monitoring the 6 metrics, but it is one that we are still over the state goal, and that is the average daily case rate. That means per 100,000 resident, we cannot exceed 7 new cases per 100,000 resident in Ventura County. Our number is at 9. Again, our goal is 7. The state average is 10. So the good news is we're below the state average. Of course, the bad news is that we're still not able to move to the next tier where more businesses can open, and when our schools will have the option to be able to open on their own by school district until we reach that 7. It is possible. We just need to get that number of new cases down. The other 5 metrics that we've been following, we've been doing great. I already shared with you the hospital numbers, but also our testing, our positivity number is very good. We're at 6.2. It needs to be at 8, and so we're doing very well with the positivity rate. The another number that we're doing very well is with regard to testing. Testing is very, very important. We have excellent testing capacity in Ventura County. We still have 12 sites. Many of them you're able to drive through without an appointment. You don't have to have symptoms. And in some, you can walk through, literally walk through. And that is our newest site, the Ventura County Fairgrounds site. You can walk in without an appointment, no cost at any of the 12 sites. Please continue to get tested. It is very important to get tested because, as you know, there is up to about 40% of cases don't have symptoms, or individuals that are infected with the coronavirus don't have symptoms. And so they can be transmitting the virus to your neighbor, to your loved one, to your coworker. And so for that reason, it's very important to get tested. And again, in Ventura County, we have outstanding capacity to get you tested. Our turnaround times have improved. And so if you wish to get a test, visit our website and you'll see the listing of the 12 sites. So now, in terms of one other number, very important number, no additional deaths are we reporting today. So we remain at 116. And so we hope that those 13 that are in the ICU will get out of that status and recover and be home soon. So now a word about gatherings. So Supervisor Long said it very well. It's so important, especially during holidays, to come together. Usually, you would come together with family, with friends, a time to celebrate the end of summer. But we saw what happened during the last few holidays and celebrations around graduations, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and 4th of July. Those holidays, we saw a spike in our numbers. And in fact, that's what led us to be on the monitoring list. We cannot afford to do that this time again. Please do not gather in large groups. Do not gather with groups outside of your household. It is so important. Yes, it is so difficult as well. We urge to be around those that we love and care for, and we'll get to that point soon enough, but right now it's not that time. So please do what you can to continue to abide by our local health officer orders, Dr. Levin's orders, the state health officer orders that still basically call for you to socially distance, wear your mask, practice personal hygiene, especially with hand washing, and not gather, especially in large groups. And so please be careful this holiday. Still celebrate it, but celebrate it safely. In terms of our businesses, again, we appreciate Camarillo Cupcakes for hosting us today. It is one of many outstanding businesses that are still thriving or getting back to the levels where they were before COVID. And they can do so by having you visit businesses. But then when you do visit, please also practice all the recommendations. Wear your mask. The businesses have been doing outstanding work by also having the protocols in place, and that's outstanding. We have excellent compliance in Ventura County for businesses. However, there is widespread community transmission in Ventura County along with the other 36 counties. That is the category for the Tier 1, the purple. It's considered widespread community spread of coronavirus, and so it is common to find it in a workplace or to get infected at a work site in a workplace. But there are resources for those businesses and those employees. We continue to work at our communicable disease office with each and every employer business that finds one or more cases. They're able to call us. We'll be there to assist them in terms of proper isolation orders for those that test positive, and also proper quarantine orders. We'll go over those with them for those people that came in contact but have not tested positive. For that, we urge businesses to call our communicable disease line at 805-981-5201. 981-5201. That is our line for communicable disease for businesses to check in with us for assistance on keeping their employees and their patrons, their clients safe. Now, with regard to schools, yes, unfortunately, we're not at a level where we are allowing schools to open with in-person instruction. So schools are back in session, remotely learning, except in some occasions when schools K through 6 have applied through a waiver process, and we have 21 of those that have applied to our department for a waiver process to exempt and allow those K through 6th grade classrooms in a very safe manner. They have to have a robust reopening plan that is reviewed by your local health department and the state. And if granted those waivers, then they can open. And we have now approved 3, us along with the state, have allowed 3 schools to open K6 again, and 3 additional schools are under consideration from the state at this time. We have approved them, but we're awaiting for the state. So 21 total, 3 approved, and 3 under consideration while we await the state to review and approve. Again, the rest of the schools, they need to socially distance and not provide distance learning and not provide in-classroom instruction unless they are a K through 6 school. There is the option. Tier schools after the 14 days after that, 2 weeks after we come off the purple tier, they will be able to open, and that'll be up to the school districts to decide if it is safe for their own school district and their own community in conjunction with their stakeholders in their community to decide whether they're able to open. But from our perspective, we'll allow schools to open when we reach the next tier, or they'll have the ability to open. I believe that's all the points I wanted to cover. Again, I just urge everyone to continue doing the outstanding work that Ventura County residents are known to do in outbreaks and public health emergencies and other emergencies. Is we look out for each other, we come together, and we abide by orders, guidelines that are meant to protect the health and well-being of all Ventura County residents. We do it not just for ourselves, but we do it for our neighbors, for our loved ones. So with that, please do not gather in large groups this weekend. Nevertheless, have a safe and healthy weekend. So with that, I'd like to now turn it over to Assistant CEO of the County of Ventura, Paul Stamper.
Thank you, Rigo. As Rigo mentioned, the state recently released a blueprint for a safer economy. This includes a 4-tiered reopening structure, which follows widespread, substantial, moderate, and minimal stages, and identifies specific reopenings by industry that are allowed as you progress through those stages. So the immediate impacts to our county, as we are in the widespread purple stage, is that hair salons and barbershops are allowed to move back indoors. Malls are allowed to open for indoor activity up to 25% capacity. And all retail is able to continue at indoor operations at 25%. Incidentally, if you're a business that has not registered yet and are opening, we want to ensure that you go to VC Reopens to register and take advantage of the guidance that's listed there. If you have already registered but are now changing, reopening in a broader manner, you do not need to go back and re-register, for instance, if you're moving back indoors. Also, those of businesses that are still operating outdoors will need to remain so until we can progress to the next tier. At the next level or tier, most of those businesses that are outside right now are going to be allowed to move indoors for operations. For specific information on this, I encourage you to go to www.cdph.ca.gov. You can click on Blueprint for a Safer Economy, and then click on Activities and Business Tiers. And that will give you a breakdown for every industry and every tier and the opening associated with that. Additionally, I encourage you to go to www.vcrecovers.org. That's where you'll find all the local details. Okay, this is where some businesses or industry types are not covered by the state information. We may have some different or additional requirements here locally based on our local conditions, and so the FAQs there are a great place to find out that information. Yesterday at our Board of Supervisors meeting, our board approved an increase of $9 million to our Business Assistance Grant Program for a total of $24 million. This allows local businesses to receive a $5,000 grant to help them with their operations after being impacted by COVID. We've had nearly 5,000 applicants to this program, and the board made that adjustment so that we can give a grant to every single business that is eligible and compliant with the documentation that's required for that. We're happy to see that many of our hardest hit industries are the applicants in this program, including areas such as retail, hotels, restaurants, salons, gyms, and of course our nonprofit partners who were eligible as well. And many of those are struggling for donations, and they are on the front lines helping people that are impacted by COVID. We are also very pleased to see that our outreach efforts resulted in many small businesses. The vast majority, 4 employees or less, applied to that program. Over 40% of the applicants were from minority-owned businesses, over 40% from women-owned businesses, and 39%, nearly 40%, from disadvantaged communities. So we're very pleased to see those numbers and hope that those dollars can help those businesses to survive and begin to thrive again as we move forward. Lastly, I want to touch on the state just this week passed and the governor signed new legislation for eviction protections. So renters have eviction protection from now through January 31st of 2021. By filing a hardship declaration, you can get this protection, and so any renter who missed payments from March up through this past month has that protection. Now from this month going forward, you can retain those protections as a renter by filing that declaration and also by paying 25% of the rent that's due. And that payment can happen on a monthly basis or in a lump sum as long as that happens before January 31st. For landlords, the Homeowner's Bill of Rights was extended somewhat to provide some additional foreclosure protections. This legislation, however, was for residential properties, not commercial. So we are encouraging those, both tenants and landlords with commercial properties to go to www.edcollaborative.com. And there you'll find a guide for renters and landlords. You'll also see some upcoming webinars around creative solutions for renters and landlords, and lots of other good resources and information, including another upcoming webinar on PPP forgiveness applications. We had in Ventura County over $1 billion in money through the PPP program that was distributed, and so the more of that money that we can convert from a loan to a grant, the better for all of our local businesses. So again, we're happy to be here at Camarillo Cup Cape. We want to encourage all of you to shop local. And next, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Charles Genkel, the Director of our Environmental Health Department.
Good afternoon, Ventura County. I am the Deputy Director of the Ventura County Resources Management Agency's Environmental Health Division. I'd like to talk a little bit about our ambassador program today and the compliance that we're receiving from our businesses. As the ambassador program, we are tasked to make sure that businesses adhere to the state guidance documents as well as our public health orders. The ambassadors include city co-compliance officers, county co-compliance, the Environmental Health Division, as well as our partners with the State Alcoholic and Beverage Control. I'd also like to to invite the business community to be partners here as well. After all, without their cooperation, ingenuity, and flexibility, we would not be seeing this high level of compliance at this time. I'd like to share some numbers that highlight this effort. So far to date, we have about 14,000 businesses that have registered at vcreopens.com. Our ambassadors have inspected about 10,000 of those businesses. That's a substantial amount. I also have to note that individually, but with the state coming here in July, the very beginning of July, they've inspected about 3,128 businesses here in Ventura County, and they've only cited 3 businesses of those inspections. I also have to include that since March, our ambassadors have only issued under 30 orders, health officer closure orders, and of those, the majority of these businesses have complied. So again, I just want to give the credit to our dedicated businesses in the community, and they're ensuring that they're complying with all state guidelines for their industry type. It's also important that all businesses, as Paul mentioned earlier, if you're getting ready to open or you're already open and you have not registered yet, please go to vcreopens.com and register your business. You also want to make sure you prepare that COVID prevention plan that's required, and you also want to make sure that you have your inspection conducted so that you ensure that you're in compliance with the orders. We also want to ensure the public that we are physically visiting businesses from large manufacturers to small markets. To point out a few, this includes over 2,200 restaurants, our big box stores, auto repair shops, dentists, and day camps, to mention a few. And mainly that's just to ensure that they're in compliance with the COVID-19 guidelines and to keep both your customers and your business safe, along with your employees. To reiterate, vcreopens.com is where you want to register. If there are any questions you have regarding business compliance, and this is for the business community and the public, you can also call our hotline at 1-844-826-7367. And for those of you that are watching, you can't really smell how good it smells in here, but this is an amazing place here at the Camarillo Cupcake. And I'd like to introduce one of our partners, the owner and baker here, Gina Steimacher.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles. Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Steimacher. My husband and I are the proud owners of our hometown family bakery, Camarillo Cupcake, where we're coming from you today. Our bakery began with my love of baking and a desire to bring joy and happiness to people in my community. Since we opened 2.5 years ago, we've committed to using high-quality ingredients and presenting the most delicious and creative baked goods we can make. 6 months ago, as the news of COVID-19 came out, I was scared. What would this mean for my bakery and for everything I had worked so hard to create for my community? There were so many unknowns. I was forced to close the bakery for a short period of time so I could reassess and come up with my game plan for moving forward. As the weeks and months went by, I did my best to keep my employees working and to stay open on the weekends so that my community could have a place to buy high-quality baked goods for life celebrations, no matter how small the celebrations had become. You see, in the event and celebration industry, we serve corporations, weddings, and important milestones. By this virus, we've been hit hard. But things are looking up. The bakery is open 6 days a week, and we are making a comeback. With the help of the County of Ventura's Business Assistance Grant Program and the PPP money I received, I am proud of what my staff and I have been able to accomplish. We've been creative, we've offered new baked goods, and we've supported each other like we're family. I would like to thank my family and all of my employees who've stayed by my side throughout the past 6 months. I also want to thank my customers. Without them, none of this would be possible. They have continued to support us and give us words of encouragement to keep us going. I am forever grateful. Many thanks to the County of Ventura for offering the Business Assistance Grant Program and for selecting me to receive the $5,000 grant. Also, thanks to the Economic Development Collaborative for providing free online resources and webinars for business owners like me who have questions that need to be answered. And my thanks to the City of Camarillo, who reached out and advertised businesses that were open and businesses who were hiring. With their help, I was able to find new employees. In closing, I would like to encourage you to support small, locally owned businesses in your communities, including us here at Camarillo Cupcake. Thank you so much. And now, Mike Powers.
Thank you, Gina, and good afternoon, Ventura County. It is so wonderful to be here in the beautiful city of Camarillo in the Carmen Plaza at Camarillo Cupcake. And what a wonderful shop this is, and these cupcakes are amazing. They look amazing and they taste amazing. So it's great to be here with Gina, and I love that it's what she said is a family-owned business with wonderful staff, and we have the staff right here. Let's take a shot of them and the whole shop here. So, you know, when you think about what small businesses, what it takes, the passion it takes to launch and operate a small business in good times. And then you imagine what it's like during a challenging time like a pandemic and all that they've been through. The fact that they're coming out of it, they're coming through it for their community, for their employees, and for their families. They really are our heroes of our community. And so we're so deeply grateful and humbled that Gina would have us here at her beautiful shop today. And I just think it's a great reminder to all of us to support our local small businesses. They've been here for us during these challenging times, and we need to be here for them. And it sounds like that they are. The customers here keep coming, and I'm sure more and more will continue to come here because we really need to shop local. And you heard from Charles Ginkle, the compliance that's happening with our businesses is incredible. I want to repeat that just one time. The state has come down. That's not just our folks. The state has inspected 3,100 businesses, 3 violations. That's just astounding compliance. It speaks to the spirit of compliance of our businesses. And when you think about it, you can tell when Gina speaks, she cares about her employees and she cares about her customers and her community. So it's not surprising to see those numbers, but it's still just wonderful, wonderful to see it in action here. And to remember that in our economy here, 2/3 of our local economy is driven by small businesses like Gina. So anything we can do to support them would be great. Telling me to turn the mic up. Okay, there we go, got it. With that, a few more items. Just you heard about our testing, and won't go through the numbers, but just a quick story. We had somebody send us a thank you note the other day who went to one of our testing sites, no wait, got tested, got her results in less than 24 hours. So that's not going to happen every time, but it's just to let you know it's a pretty easy experience, and our turnaround times are really great. Also want to just talk about 2 milestones that we've reached here recently in support of our vulnerable populations. Yesterday, our Board of Supervisors approved a farm worker assistance program and approved matching funds up to $250,000. This is a great public-private partnership with our ag community, our local growers who care deeply about their farm workers, and this will allow $1,500 grants to our wonderful farm workers who've been so essential during this challenging time and continue to do this very challenging work under difficult circumstances to put food on our table. So we're deeply grateful to them and the board for supporting this program. And additional programs continue to support them, including our VCMC medical doctors who go out to the field to support them, our Logrando Bienestar, which is a mental health outreach program, as well as, of course, our farm worker resource program. Another key milestone that just happened at the end of last week has to do with Project Home Key. Now, you've heard of Project Room Key, and that's been our effort to house our homeless folks, especially those who are medically fragile and over 65. And we've housed over 450 of these individuals. In a longer-term solution, the state offered Project Home Key, which is a program they've set aside $600 million for more permanent solutions for housing. And this is an opportunity to purchase and convert and rehabilitate hotels and motels. And so we're very pleased that our county team was able to jump on this opportunity in a partnership with our local cities. And last week we received conditional approval for one of those projects in Oxnard at a hotel. And so that project is moving forward. And it's a good thing they did, because we heard the governor say today at noon that there's already more than $600 million in applications for those funds. But they jumped on it. That will mean about $9.7 million for the hotel purchase and about $1.7 million for operations going forward. So more to come, but lots of things happening to support our vulnerable populations in the community. I want to let you know, too, that we announced at our board yesterday, we're very proud of the fact that our county just received the award as the #1 digital county in the nation. And while we're excited about that, the most important thing about that is just to remind folks of the availability of online services. We like to say online, not inline. It's especially important right now when many of our offices are closed, but our staff is still there working and the services are available. And that's going to be true whether our businesses are open or closed. So really we encourage you to go to ventura.org onto our website, and there's a little box there that says online services, and it's got a full list of the services that are available. And with the hot weather here that's happening right now, it's an appropriate time to recognize that September is disaster preparedness month. So we encourage you to have a plan. In Ventura County, our plan is called Ready, Set, Go, and we encourage you to talk to your family, get a plan together, and the best way to see what should be in that is to go to VenturaCountyRecovers.org, and you can see all the information there. Last, I just want to touch on a really important project that's important for our entire community is the census. Every 10 years, we get one shot at it. And so far, our community is doing great, and thank you. So we have a 75% response rate. That puts us at #4 in the state out of 58 counties and #1 in Southern California. Not that we're competitive, but we're 0.1% ahead of Orange County, and we've got to even increase our lead. But it's making a big difference. And why does it matter? Because this means additional funds for our community in terms of housing, healthcare, social services, and safety services, and money for our schools. This really is critical for us. And interestingly, some might not know that actually who uses this information the most? Businesses. They use it for a lot of market research and data research. So it's absolutely critical. As I say, we're doing well. We're in Camarillo. They're doing extremely well. Their response rate is 82%. And I was talking to some of the city leadership just a moment ago, and they asked where Moore Park was because they're in competition with them. I told them Moore Park was at 82%, so they're neck and neck. It'd be good to see this healthy competition who comes out ahead. But it's good, healthy competition, and we need that because we've got to finish strong. There's only 29 days left. 29 days left to sign up, and it's super easy. You can do it in about 2 minutes, and it feels great once you've done it. So again, the best place to go for that is 2020census.gov, 2020census.gov. Go on and fill out your form. It's super simple, and you help your community. Last, I did want to recognize that today marks the 1-year anniversary of the tragedy of the Conception boat fire, and just let folks know that, of course, our community, our hearts and thoughts go out to the families of the lost loved ones on this day. And I do want to recognize again our first responders in general and in that event, because actually it was our county harbor, Channel Islands Harbor Patrol and County Fire that were the first responders that got there that fateful night. And again, we so appreciate our first responders being out there for us all the time, especially now during this fire disaster time that we have right now. So with that, Ventura County, we just say thank you. As you heard from Mr. Vargas, our numbers are heading in a good direction. We thank you for what you're doing for our community. It helps our health, and it helps our small businesses like Camarillo Cupcake here. So take care, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.